Good morning, students. Today we are going to read the chapter number 5, Quality of the book Honeycomb. So let's start. Once I went absent-mindedly into his shop in a pair of boots bought in an emergency at some large firm. He took my order without showing me any leather, and I could feel his eyes penetrating the inferior covering of my foot. At last he said, "Those are not my boot." Means here the author says that once he went absent-mindedly. Absent-mindedly means without paying attention. Once he went without paying attention into Gessler's brothers' shop and to order a new pair, and he was wearing a pair of shoes which he bought due to some emergency from a big firm, and he could feel that the author was seeing penetrating the inferior covering of his foot. Penetrating means strongly. The author was seeing strongly of his boots. At last he said in an angry tone that those are not my boots. Those are not my shoes. The tone was not one of anger, nor of sorrow, not even of contempt, but there was in it something quite that froze the blood. He put his hand down and pressed a finger on the place where the left boot was not quite comfortable. Means when the bootmaker was speaking to the author, he was not in an anger mood, he was not in a sorrow mood. Sorrow means sad, and not even of contempt. Contempt means disrespect. He was not showing any disrespect to him. But there was in it something quite that froze the blood. He put his hand down and pressed a finger on the place where the left boot was not quite comfortable. Means he touches a particular spot on the narrator's shoe where it is not comfortable for the narrator and says, "It hurts you there," he said. "Those big firms have no self-respect." And then, as if something had given way within him, he spoke long and bitterly. It was the only time I ever heard him discuss the conditions and hardships of his trade. He said, means here the bootmaker says to the writer, "It hurts you there." He expresses his contempt. I told you he expresses his disrespect, feeling that those large firms have no self-respect, that those large firms attract customers through shiny advertisements to sell their inferior products. Then the author explains him under what conditions he had to buy those shoes. "They get it all," he said. "They get it by advertisement, not by work. They take it away from us who lose our boots. It goes to this presently. I had no work every year. It gets less, you will see." And looking at his lined face, I saw things I had never noticed before, bitter things and bitter struggle, and what a lot of grey hairs there seemed suddenly in his red beard. Means then the bootmaker says that the big firms have taken our work from us. Then the author says about his struggle that he had faced in his life. As best I could, I explained the circumstances of those ill-omened boots, but his face and voice made so deep an impression that during the next few minutes I ordered many pairs. They lasted longer than ever, and I was not able to go to him for nearly 2 years. Means the writer is describing here the bad moments. Ill-omened means bad moments. Ill-omened means bad moments. So here the author is describing the ill moment of his life, and his face, and by seeing his face and voice, he ordered many pairs of shoes, and the quality of the boots is better than the previous one. The new shoes lasted at least 2 years. It was many months before my next visit to his shop. This time it appeared to be his elder brother handling a piece of leather. And in his next visit, he sees that the bootmaker was looking very much elder than before. Well, Mr. Gessler, I said, how are you? He came close and peered at me. I'm very well, he said slowly, but my elder brother is dead. Then Mr. Gessler says to him, I'm very well, I'm very okay. And he said slowly, but my elder brother is no more. And I saw that it was indeed himself, but how aged and man, and never before had I heard him mention his brother. Much shocked, I murmured, oh, I am sorry. Then, here, the author could not believe himself. He was thinking that he was Mr. Gessler himself, and he is telling a lie because the bootmaker had never discussed about his brother. Murmured means speak slowly. Murmured means speak slowly. Yes, he answered, he was a good man, he made a good boot, but he is dead. And he touched the top of his head where the hair had suddenly gone as thin as it had been on that of his poor brother, to indicate, I suppose, the cause of his death. Do you want any boots? And he held up the leather in his hand. It's a beautiful piece here. He says, yes, he was really a good man, he was really hard working, but he is no more. So he touched the top of his head where the hair was suddenly gone, and he asked him, do you want any boots? And there was a leather in his hand, and he said, it's a very beautiful piece. I ordered several pairs. It was very long before they came, but they were better than ever. One simply could not wear them out, and soon after that I went abroad. Here the author says, after hearing this, he ordered several pairs, he ordered many pairs, and they were better than ever. They were better than before. It was over a year before I was again in London, and the first shop I went to was my old friend's. I had left a man of 60. I came back to one of 75, pinched and warm, who generally this time did not first know me. Means, then the brother expressed his sadness and asked about boots. Soon after, the narrator leaves for abroad, leaves for foreign country, and returns after over a year. The first shop he goes to is Mr. Gessler's, and he says that whatever shoes he made was perfect in size, they were always fit. A week later, passing the little street, I thought I would go in and tell him how splendidly the new boots fitted, but when I came to where his shop had been, his name was gone. Then, after 1 week, the author decides to go in the little street because he wanted to tell him that the shoes he made was very awesome. Splendidly means होता है awesome, wonderful. But what does he see? He sees the name was gone from there. I went in very much disturbed. In the shop there was a young man with an English face, and he was disturbed. After hearing this, after seeing this, he got disturbed. So disturbed, he goes into the shop and sees a young English face, and he says, Mr. Gessler in? I said, no sir. He said, no, but we can attend to anything with pleasure. We have taken the shop over. So Mr. Gessler asks him about the bootmaker, and he says, we don't know sir, but we can provide you anything, and we have taken this shop here. Yes, I said, but Mr. Gessler, who? He answered, Dad. but then he says that Mr. Gessler is no more. Mr. Gessler, he knows the younger Gessler's death. Dead, but I only received these boots from him last Wednesday week. That he says no, but he met him last Wednesday week. Ah, he said, poor old man, starved himself, slow starvation. The doctor called it. You see, he went to work in such a way, would keep the shop on, would not have a soul touch his boots except himself. Means here the young man explains to him that Gessler died from starvation. Starvation means he didn't eat anything. Starvation means he didn't eat anything. He starved himself. Slow starvation. And he said that the doctor was saying so. You see, he used to do his work alone and he was always busy in making his boots. It took him such a time. People won't wait. He lost everybody and there he would sit going on and on. Means he was always keeps on busy in his boot making. I'll say that for him not a man in London made a better boot. He says that no one can make as good boot as he could. But look at the competition. He never advertised, would have the best leather too and do it all himself. So the young man says about him that he never gave an advertisement in the newspaper. He had the best quality of leather and he did all the work himself. So we could not accept anything from his ideas. But starvation, that may be a bit flory as the saying is, but I know myself he was sitting over his boots day and night to the very last you see. I used to watch him, never gave himself time to eat, never had a penny in the house, all went in rent and leather. How he lived so long, I don't know. He regularly let his fire go out. He was a character, but he made good boots. Yes, I said he made good boots. Means here, the young man says he used to devote himself to shoes making so much that he used to forget everything else. All the money went in rents and leather. The fate was quite obvious from the beginning. Then both agrees means the young man and the author both agree that Gessler brothers made always good boots. So that's all for today, students. Thank you.